Stop! It will stop, Professor, it will stop. But only if you keep drinking.
Don't make me.
I'm sorry, sir.
Kill me!
Hello there, how are you? I hope you're well. It's good to see you. My new short film is done. It's finished. But unfortunately, I can't show you it yet because it was actually made for the TV. It was made for Channel 4. So it's going to have to go there first, which is nice. I've got lots of cool stuff in development, and in development basically means I'm busier than ever working on projects that I think you'll all really enjoy when they eventually, hopefully, come to light. But you wouldn't know that, you know? You need a finished product, and you need to be reminded that I exist. So I'm doing that. Here's a reminder. Hello. Things have calmed down for a minute. Things have sort of chilled out. So I thought it'd be nice to just sit down and talk about the Harry Potter films. Yeah, to me, the Harry Potter movies are top-tier pedigree blockbuster entertainment. Like, they made 8 of them, and they're basically all good. Today, big franchises are more popular than ever. You know, Star Wars, Marvel, all of that. And despite the fact that I can pretty much enjoy all of those movies when I see them, I can have a lot of fun with them, I think when viewed as a whole, you could argue that you kind of just get this picture of like a big, grey CGI clusterfuck, you know? And I think that's maybe a bit reductive, but I hope you get what I mean. But I don't feel that was ever the case with Harry Potter, you know? I think despite the fact that these are obviously huge movies that rake in hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars, great, massive cultural touchstones that have redefined entertainment as we know it, I still think they managed to retain a level of quaintness from start to finish. They're good movies. Let's get into it. First up, Harry Potter 1 and the Philosopher's Stone, or, for you American Philistines out there, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Look, is the series still very much finding its feet? Yes. Does the plot sort of meander for a while after Harry gets to Hogwarts? Yes. Does Voldemort look amazing? Yes. Is it a classic? What do you think? The first two are helmed by Chris Columbus of Home Alone and Pixels fame.
I'm the Donkey Kong champion of the world.
He's really the only, like, proper Hollywoody director across the whole franchise, and it definitely made sense to start with him. He's a safe pair of hands. He knows his way around family entertainment, working with kids, working with big budgets. You could argue that tonally, these first two movies feel a little bit too glossy and sanitized when compared to the later films, but look, he established this world filmically, baby. He did it. The decisions made for this film had to carry through all of them, and they were clearly the right decisions. You know, the cast, the sets, the art direction, the music. This film didn't have to bang 100%. It just needed to ensure that people would want to revisit this world and these characters, and they definitely accomplished that, right? Basically, all this film had to nail was that one shot where they reveal Hogwarts, you know the one where they're all in the boats and there's the lanterns and everything, and the John Williams score swells. They just had to get that right. And, I mean, fuck me, did they? Every single frame of this film is seared into my brain forever, you know? It's the first one. It's a good watch. I mean, this film obviously earns points because it's the first and only appearance of Madam HOOCH.
Welcome to your first flying lesson.
What happened to her, guys? No one talks about Madam HOOCH. What, these kiddies mastered the art of broom flying in one session and then they fired her? Did she die? Did she have a family? Did anyone care? Many questions I have. Chamber of Secrets. You know, it's fascinating that this one on paper is arguably darker and a little heavier than some of the more tonally dark films that come by later on. But it's still Chris Columbus, so there's still that sheen to it, that gloss, that a young girl gets hypnotized and writes shit on the walls in blood. Children are getting petrified and taken to the bloody hospital. There's bigotry.
You filthy little mudblood.
It's interesting. I think maybe the handling of some of the darker ideas in this film is probably a big part of why they made such a shift going forward, because it was only going to get darker, and you got to take it seriously, Chris.
Pesky pixie pest the newbie!
I enjoy this one, you know. I love the flying car, love the Whomping Willow, voices breaking, left, right and centre.
Well, come on then. Let's go lower.
Furries.
Look at my face.
I remember being so hyped for this. I think it was probably the first time I was ever remotely hyped for anything. I remember being at the View Acton, just off the A40, and there were these 3 posters in the foyer of Harry, Hermione and Ron. And I was just feeling rather gassed, you know. Harry had a sword. There was a
Freshly caught Cornish pixies.
on the poster. Like, what the fuck is that? Can't wait to find out. The basilisk looks amazing. Like a really, really great blend of practical animatronics and CGI. That whole bit where Harry's skulking around in the Chamber of Secrets trying to avoid it is brilliant. I mean, that whole end sequence is actually great. It's Tom Marvolo Riddle introducing thousands of children to anagrams. Well, hey, I fully thought phoenixes were real until quite recently. Like, until maybe 2 years ago, I thought phoenixes were real. I didn't think there was this bird that existed that dies and turns to ash and then is reborn. I thought there was an orange bird that inspired all sorts of folk tales. That's what I thought. I guess that just speaks to how incredible the craftsmanship is in this film, that I believed their fake crying magic bird was real. So I guess I'm Boo Boo the Fool. Jason Isaacs, Grandpa, Lucius Malfoy. Hello, what a performance. What an incredibly hateful man, just chewing the scenery, having so much fun with it. I'm fairly certain he's about to murder Harry at the end, right? Outside of Dumbledore's office. Like he's got Avada Kedavra on tap. Yeah? Like he goes, right? Doesn't he? He's going to kill him. He growls when he says it. Like, you know? What for? Okay. Prisoner of Azkaban. This may be a tired and basic opinion, but it's the best one, right? To go from a safe, established, proper Hollywood director like Chris Columbus to Alfonso Cuarón, who at that point was most well known for Y Tu Mama Tambien, which is a Spanish language, low-budget film about a bunch of teenagers going on a road trip and exploring their sexuality. You're going to give him the third Harry Potter film, yeah? Alfonso is so core to why this film is special, and getting him was a masterstroke. To me, this is the first and maybe only Harry Potter film where it feels like every decision being made is for a thematic reason. Death, grief, adolescence, every inch of this film serves a few central ideas, and through that just feels so focused and complete. In every one of these films, that unique Harry Potter flavour is brought out through the world building, you know, the sets, the music, stuff like that, and you know that's a given. But with this one, I think it might be the first and maybe only time in the series that it's the filmmaking itself that really sends it, you know? This is a great, big, fat, massive studio movie that feels singular, and it feels like there's one vision driving the entire thing. If Chris Columbus established this universe, then Alfonso Cuarón fully realised it. I think every single film after this one owes a great debt, tonally and aesthetically, to him. It's just brilliant. I think Harry's is most interesting here too. Like, the absence of his parents and his frustration with never being able to get to know them. Like, I think this one explores the ideas of grief and what it means to be an orphan in a really thoughtful way. He's growing up. He wants guidance. He wants that void to be filled. When he sees that Patronus and he so desperately wants to believe that his dad's alive, it's heartbreaking. He can't get his parents back, but through meeting Sirius, they can feel more alive than ever.
It's cruel that I got to spend so much time with James and Lily and you so little. But know this. The ones that love us never really leave us. And you can always find them.
It's nice. I like the Dementors too. I could talk about this one all day, okay? You've seen it. It's amazing, right? Okay? Yes? Next? Goblet of Fire, yeah, I enjoy this one. You know, it's nice to see the Potterverse fleshed out a little bit with all the other schools coming in for the Triwizard Tournament. Although I don't quite know how the education system works in the wizarding world. You know, is there a tuition fee for Hogwarts? Like, is it a private school or is it a public school? And if it is a private school, are there public wizard schools out there? And all these other schools that come for the tournament, are they just like, they're not, these can't be the only schools, right? It can't just be that, because we know there's ones in America. So are these just like the most bougie ones, or is it, are they picked randomly? I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter because it's not real. Love David Tennant smacking those lips like a champ.
Hello, Father.
Victor Crumb, when he's a shark. And then when he's not a shark. You know? I think most of us would agree that this flick comes to life after the maze and Harry and Cedric end up at the graveyard. Wormtail's chrome hand. Gully. Ralph Fiennes is like so good as Voldemort, like so iconic. He just loves being evil. He can't get enough of it. He really can't. He's barefoot. He's alive again. He's up and about. He's saying Crucio. He's really enjoying it, isn't he? Never quite understood how Harry gets out of that one with his parents, his ghost parents, helping him. They come. I mean, again, I guess it doesn't matter because it's not real. When Harry first gets back and the band starts playing because they don't know what's happened, and then eventually they stop because they realise Harry isn't moving and he's just cowering over Cedric's body, and then Cedric's dad comes down and is just sobbing and he's like, "My boy! That's my son!
That's my son! That's my boy!"
It's just rather peak, isn't it? Anyway, Order of the Phoenix. Yeah, I like this one. I enjoy this one. You know, for a while, I would think of this one as my favourite, and I think the reason for that is because it's just so watchable. Like every single one of these films is incredibly watchable, but like this one just introduces so many fun new elements and moves at such a pace and has such a fun like final boss fight. Yeah, it's a good one. It's good fun. It's good fun, this one. This is the first one directed by David Yates, who would then go on to direct all of the rest. And yeah, he does a fine job. You know, it's very measured, but sometimes quite loose filmmaking. You know, every time you return to one of his films, you can quite quickly settle back into his version of the Potterverse. So good on you, David. You got a soft face. We got Bellatrix Lestrange. We got Umbridge, who is phenomenal. Obviously, this tyrannical, bigoted, cat-loving monster. She's. You just hate her. You just really hate her. You hate her in a way that I don't even think you quite hate Voldemort. That being said, to be dragged away by a bunch of centaurs is a bizarre fate. And what was the deal with Hagrid's massive brother? I'm not sure about that one. He sort of looks like something out of Bridge to Terabithia, which I directed. It's nice to see various other classmates be fleshed out and given a chance to shine. You know, we love Neville, we like Luna. It's just, I enjoy seeing these guys band together. You know, they're just a bunch of really good kids who, for some reason, have the whole world on their shoulders because all the adults are completely useless and they're just selflessly trying to save the world, right? And it's hard. It's difficult. But they do it. And it's nice. Dumbledore ghosting Harry for the whole film is so funny to me. I don't know why. I think Dumbledore is one of the funniest characters in the whole series because he is so elusive and mysterious and commands so much respect, but like there's like a kind of stoner energy to him, which I quite enjoy, especially when Michael Gambon takes over. When the fucking cops rock up and he does that bloody grand slam, claps his hands together and disappears.
You may not like him, Minister, but you can't deny Dumbledore's got style.
It's like, who are you? That final fight at the Ministry is so anime. I love it. Like, Dumbledore steals some water out of that fountain and turns it into a big water bubble, and then Voldemort tries to throw sand at him. It is so fucking Dragon Ball Z. It's amazing. When Harry's writhing on the floor and Dumbledore's like, I'm sorry for ghosting you. Look, just hold on to love. That's what matters. Don't give in. And you get those shots of Voldemort, like really tacky shots of Voldemort, like on a green screen in, I guess, Harry's mind. And it's so goofy. It's like, it sort of looks like a chocolate advert. No, it doesn't. And now the Half-Blood Prince. I think this is the one I've got the least to say about, because I think it is the only one that I didn't see in cinemas. Alas. National treasure, Jim Broadbent as Slugborn. That's my favourite game. Bloody cowardly shoulder rubber. You have seen his sculptures, right? His like wooden sculptures of people, his friends. You have seen them. I'm just making sure that you've seen Jim Broadbent's sculptures. I'm just making sure that you've seen them. I'm just checking. I'm just making sure. Something I like about this one is that, you know, despite all the intrigue and the mystery and the unraveling of who is the Half-Blood Prince and stuff like that, it's relatively stripped back when it comes to plot. You know, like there isn't some big final boss, there isn't some big baddie to overcome in the end. Like it all culminates in a climax that's very driven by character. Which I think's cool and it's refreshing. You know, it's a nice chance for us to catch our breath before everything comes to an end. This is definitely the last time they were able to show these core characters actually enjoying themselves, because after this it's just completely fucking miserable. Doesn't Harry get drunk? Does he get... No. He's off his tits on something.
I've got a really good feeling about Hagrid's. I feel it's the place to be tonight. Do you know what I mean?
Is there a funeral for a spider?
Merlin's beard.
I tell you, someone who really shines in this one is my dad, is Tom Felton as Draco Malfoy. You know, up until this point, it could be argued that Draco's been mostly portrayed as a fairly one-dimensional, sort of spoiled, arrogant prick, but here he's really going through it. You know, again, it's this young person who really should just be cracking on with his magic GCSEs, but instead he's just fucking having to deal with this shit. It's like, poor guy, you know? The Dark Lord is taking advantage of him, manipulating him into completing a task he was never going to be able to complete. Like, he was born into this dodgy family with a dark past, but honestly, they didn't want Voldemort to come back. They didn't expect him to come back. They wanted to just live their lives being mean to people, but now they're having to do his bidding. And that's something I really enjoy about Voldemort and a lot of kind of villains in fantasy stories, is when they truly don't inspire any devotion, right? When the seat of their power is entirely derived from fear. I think that's really fun. And Voldy just loves it. Oh, do you remember when that girl, the actor from Basil Brush, gets cursed, and it's just horrifying, like fully some Junji Ito shit. You wouldn't see Chris doing that, would you?
I'm the Donkey Kong champion of the world.
Dumbledore's death is handled incredibly well. Harry having to just sit there, shut up and watch it is heartbreaking. Everyone raising their wands is such a unique idea, which I don't think was in the books. Yeah, it's awful, and it really does an incredible job at setting the stage for the end. I think these two final films together sum up everything great about this franchise. You know, there's the spectacle, there's the magic, the wonder, the excitement, but there's also the more intimate moments. There's the introspection, there's the angst. To strip everything back and focus on Harry, Hermione and Ron for a good chunk of the film is perfect, you know? You've seen these guys grow up, you care deeply about them, and it sucks to see them fight, and it sucks to see them as fugitives. When Ron walks out and Harry and Hermione share that dance, it's honestly one of my favourite scenes in the whole series, because it's a rare moment where dialogue isn't remotely necessary, you know? They dance, and for a second you think maybe they're going to kiss or there's something romantic there, but nah, that ain't it, Chief. It's just this beautiful moment of platonic friendship, and it's so heartbreaking, the fact that them enjoying themselves is so laboured and doesn't come remotely naturally to them, you know? They need to win. You need to see them win, and you want to see them smile again. I adore that scene at Malfoy Manor, you know. Look, Lucius is a prick, but you can't help but feel sorry for him.
My lord.
He just strips him of his dignity in his own home. The Battle of Hogwarts is such a great sequence. To see it get all blown up and rubble everywhere is actually pretty tough, because, you know, to some extent, Hogwarts is its own character at this stage, and you don't like to see it get fucked up. That whole bit is just peak Harry Potter, isn't it? It's just all the greatest hits. Fabulous. David, those Dutch angles, mate. What? Goodness, I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick, David.
How can you live with yourself, Lucius? I don't know. Go and find Severus.
Right, so Snape's death, shall we? Look, we can debate all day long whether or not Snape was a good guy. What we can all agree on is that Alan Rickman is S tier. He is God level. He is so good, so fucking good. Oh, him pleading with Harry to take his tears to the magic sink is just heartbreaking. And then he says,
You have your mother's eyes.
He doesn't. You can get contacts? They don't look the same.
He defiled it with dark magic!
Is something I actually say sometimes. Like, if someone goes through your things and like touches your stuff without asking, you know, that's what you say. I don't want my shit defiled, especially not with dark magic, darling. Harry calling Voldemort Tom at that one bit is bizarre to me. I mean, I get why, but like, that evil snake man can't be called Tom. And then our heroes are triumphant. They save the day, and we get to the best bit, obviously. The epilogue, honey. Yeah, I'm in this film. Technically, I'm in this film. It's only the back of my head, but I am in this motion picture. You know, it was so long ago now, but I still remember it incredibly vividly, and it was just the most fun. I just loved it. We filmed for like 5 days at King's Cross. They shot close-ups of me giving Daniel Radcliffe some stank eye, but I probably wasn't very good, and they cut them. So, mucked about with Tom. Daniel whacked me around the head and called me a little shit in a very playful way. He is still one of the absolute most nicest people I've ever met. He was so incredibly patient and kind with all the kids, with all the offspring. He was amazing. Look, ultimately, these films just bring people together, don't they? It's a wonderful thing, and to be even the tiniest part, the teensy tiniest part of that legacy is not lost on me. I wouldn't be sat here today doing what I'm doing now if I wasn't lucky enough to play bloody Scorpius Malfoy in Harry Potter. So yeah, there you go. Well, did you enjoy that? I hope you did. Just thought it'd be something nice to tide you over between the bigger, more polished productions. I'm very happy to do more of these when I've got the time. You know, I kind of want to do one about the Chucky movies. But I figured this would be a better place to start. Look, YouTube is just a website at the end of the day, right? It's this thing that's constantly changing, and there's no point trying to reason with it. I've always seen this place as a stepping stone, as something that could lead to greater things, and so far I'm enjoying pursuing those things. But just know I haven't forgotten about this, and this is the reason I'm able to do what I do and make the things that I do. And I'm working on some things that I think you'll like, and I can't/shouldn't say more, but we'll see. Thanks ever so much. Lovely short films and other mysterious things in the pipeline on their way, coming soon. Lots of love. Love you. I love you. Bye.